Hey guys, welcome to Multitaskr. I'm Joe Frausto, CEO and founder of Multitaskr, a marketplace where we unite homeowners and the best service providers in your area. But today I want to welcome you to our podcast. It's called the Home Solutions Network Podcast, and we're going to be introducing the top service providers, clients that have used our marketplace, and some of the people that direct this company, and very exciting stories. The goal of the podcast is to save you time, save you money, give you insights, give you tips, and create value for your home. So come on in and let's check it out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Multitaskr's Home Solution Network podcast. My name is Adelia Carrillo, and I'm your guest host on this episode as we are changing things up a bit. The past few episodes, you have learned from a variety of experts on different fields in the Home Solutions Network of Multitaskr. And today, I am so excited to be sitting down with the CEO and founder of Multitaskr, Joe Frausto. Joe, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Delia. Thank you for being the guest host today and interviewing me.
Tables have turned. Now, before we dive into Multitaskr and what it's been like building a marketplace for home solutions, let's go back to the beginning. What was life like for you growing up? Did you always have that entrepreneurial mindset?
They say I did. I know I could remember. I have. My aunt shares an interesting story that when I was 5, that I did a drawing, and that she said it was real pretty, and that I went outside her house and I started talking to people that were walking by and selling my drawing, and that I sold it for, I think it was $1 or something like that. So I don't know if that's a true story or not, but that's what she always tells me, and she always tells that to everyone, that I always had that in me since I was little. So I think I really got it from my mother. My mother's always been an entrepreneur since I was little. And, I am almost 7 years apart from my second brother. So I kind of grew with my mom for 6 years without having a sibling. So my mom has always been very entrepreneurial. And so I always went with her everywhere she would go. She would sometimes, it was funny because she would work, and then she would sell a food after work, or she would cut hair, or she would do this or do that. And so I was always with her. Yeah. So I think that kind of played a big role of me seeing that, and her, how hard she worked. I was raised in Los Angeles. I was born in Los Angeles, raised in San Diego and in Tijuana. And so I'm bilingual because of that. But it was interesting seeing my mother, we would wake up at 3 a.m, get the border, cross. She would drop me off at school. She would go to work and then pick me up, and then she would go back down, and then she would still do something on the side, either sell something or do something, and then go back home and then get there at night. And then my father, of course, he's an engineer, but he would have his typical job, but he was always working a lot. And so, but really the entrepreneurial spirit, I think I got from my mom. I think that's really what it comes.
She works hard. That's good. Yeah. As you grew up, you went to college, and was that in San Diego as well? Mm-hmm. So then you found yourself in real estate. Yep. Did you always envision going down that path in real estate, or how did you get there?
Not at all. Well, I guess in a way, kind of, but not really. So as I mentioned, my father is a civil engineer, and he's very handy. He would always do everything at the house, and I would always help him. When I was little, when I was 7 or 8, I already can know how to, make cement and change brakes in cars and stuff like that. And it was my dad always would help him on the weekends. And they would always tell me do you want to do this? No, I don't like it. Well, then study, right? And so that's kind of the way he would always do things. Or if people hated going to my house and wanted to play with me because I would have to do chores before I could play. So he would put other kids to work if they would go visit me. So they would wait until I finished working, and then they would go and want to play. So, but in a way, I always had something intrigued with houses just because of my dad being involved with it and seeing him build homes. I think in a way, I kind of always been intrigued by it. But I always kind of just, I always just like business. And so got into college with the idea at first that I was either going to do civil engineering or architecture. And then when I started getting into the first courses, generic courses, I started talking to people that were in those areas that were already juniors or seniors. And I just didn't like it. I wasn't passionate enough to say that's what I want to do with the rest of my life. And then I stumbled along finance. I've always been good at math, and I've always just been good with just numbers. And so I just got intrigued by it. And I actually thought I was going to finish finance and go work at Wall Street or do something like that. Wow. But long story short, I actually met someone that was young. I was 21 at that age. This person was 28, and he was building a second company in the mortgage industry in La Jolla. And I was just intrigued by how, he was building this huge company, and there was a second company. He already had another one in Arizona, and he was just 28 years old. And so when I heard his story, it was the early 2000s, so real estate was super hot. He kind of told me what he was doing, and I got intrigued, and I said, well, can I work for you? So he gave me someone's number. I called him, and then ended up working at night in the call center. But I learned a lot, and I just got hooked. I just got hooked in the industry. I got hooked talking to people, helping people, and then just seeing what you could do with real estate. I just really liked it, and it just kept evolving. So that's how I got into real estate.
And you've spent 14 plus years in real estate, and it sounds like you started in the bottom and worked your way up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's almost 17 years. Yeah.
17 years.
17 years. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like I was, finishing up school and working in the call center at night. And I got married very young. I was 21 when I got married. So me and my spouse didn't have a lot of money, and we kind of just, we actually slept on the floor. We didn't even have enough for bed. But I actually wanted to live in La Jolla. And so we were renting this little studio in La Jolla. And that's how I got to meet certain people. And then I got to work at this company. And then I just saw that I was really good with people. I saw that when I was talking to people over the phone. At that point, there was no FaceTime or anything like that. So you had to sell and who you were through the phone, right? And so it was all the tone of voice. So I think I got really good at that because of I was making 300 calls a day at night in the evenings. And it was I was making minimum wage and getting little bonuses here and there. But I realized within the first 2 months that I was just really good with people, and I was good at connecting in English and in Spanish. And I just got hooked. And then what I did is I wanted to actually become a loan officer. And the gentleman that was running the San Diego branch, he told me, you know what, you have to work for a year for us to be able to do that, yada, yada, yada. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to finish school and then do that. But then just something inside of me has never allowed me to be complacent. And so I said, you know what, no, I'm not going to wait a year. So I started sending my resume to a ton of companies. I got some interviews, and then I ended up working at a company in Escondido where it was interesting, but right at that moment when I went to go do the interview, the only gentleman that spoke Spanish for them, he had gone away because his father had just passed away. And so they told me, you know what, we really would want you here because you speak Spanish and yada, yada, yada. So they gave me a really good opportunity. And within, I think it was less than 3 months, I broke the company sales records. And then I started making really good money. I went from making nothing to then making over 5 figures a month at 21, 22 years old. And
within a year time span.
Literally within less than a year, yeah.
Wow.
And the market helped. It was a really hot market. And then I started just evolving, and then I moved to another company, and then another company, and then I became basically a part owner in a company in Carlsbad. And I just kind of developed my own team. And then we were small. I think we were 8 at the point when I started. And then we got to a point where we were over 100 people. And I literally was making 6 figures a month at 24 years old, 25 years old. And coming from nothing and then suddenly doing all that, it was pretty surreal. But in a way, it was good because since I had never made that amount of money and then suddenly making it, and then losing it, because then I lost everything in 2008 when the market crashed, and then going bankrupt. Like literally went from nothing to a ton to nothing again. And it helped me a lot. I think the biggest thing it helped me with was realizing, one, that I can build it again and believing in myself. But then 2 was the ego factor, right? When you see some sort of success, I think a lot of people start getting too full of themselves, and they start like saying, oh, well, I'm doing this and this and that. And so I think it humbled me because I was a little egotistical at that age, and suddenly when all that happened, it really humbled me, and it kind of made me realize a lot of different things about just everything, right? And so that's how I got into real estate, and that was the first up I had, and then big down, right? Lost a lot of money, and we did it again.
Well, that's the thing, money comes and goes. And that was a great learning lesson for you at that young age too. When, through this whole experience, when did that whole aha moment for Multitaskr start coming into play?
So I actually go back and I think about that all the time. I think I've always had I've always had that.
Yeah.
I've always had that sense of serving people and wanting to help people out. So I'll share with you a little bit about what happened after the crash. So when the crash happened, for about 6 months, I thought the world was done, right? I didn't know what I was going to do. I was like broke. I was losing everything. I was bankruptcies and foreclosures and the whole thing. But one thing I never lost was the way clients saw me, right? They always saw me as this person that took care of them, always saw me as this person that was their advisor. And so I was getting all these calls from people that were also losing everything. And I felt like I had to be the strong one to help other people. Okay. So I said, okay, if I'm going to help out these people, well, I first have to believe in myself that I can get out of this. And then second, how can I get out of this? And then third, what value do I give these people to be able to help them and get out of it themselves, right? So long story short, I ended up learning a lot from back in the savings and loan crisis. And I started putting it together. And then I ended up teaming up with a friend of mine that's an attorney. And then I was sort of the business development guy, and I kind of developed the whole business concept of it. And we helped out actually thousands of people that were losing their homes. We saved thousands of homes. And I'm never going to forget the one moment that we saved a family. I knew they had 2 daughters, but it was so heartfelt when we saved the home. Bank did everything. They modified it. We reduced the debt and the payment. I mean, it was an amazing deal that we did for them. Hard work. And then I call them to come to the office because I'm telling them over the phone what happened. I'm super excited and I want them to sign it and the whole thing. So they get there, and then their 2 little girls get there, and then one of the girls hugs me, starts crying, and gives me her teddy bear and says, "My daddy tells me you saved my teddy bear's house." And when she said that, I broke down. Yeah. I started crying. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, and then so I think from that point on, I really enjoyed the like helping people out. Mm-hmm. At first, I think the first kind of upside I had in the early, 2000s, it was very money driven. It was very like, oh my God, I'm doing this, I'm making all this money. Yeah. And then it was more like the actual, like what was driving me was actually solving the issues, Yeah. And that was really driving me. And yeah, money came and everything went great again, and we're growing and all these things. But it wasn't, the first time around, I think it was more just that drive of the money. And the second time was the fulfillment of helping people out, And so I think from that point moving forward, I always had that itch of understanding that people needed help on getting the right advice. And then because I saw so many people that were going through so much, I would see all these holes in the industry. I would see how all these providers, some of them meant well, but they just didn't know how to advise them correctly. And some of them were straight out crooks. I mean, some of them really just wanted to take advantage of other people that didn't know, is this good? Is this not good? And so I always kept seeing that. And in my head, I always said, well, they should work this way, and they should teach that way, and they should do this, and they should do that. And so I always knew that the industry was super fragmented, and that there's all these things that you need to know, or all these services that you're going to need to maintenance your home, to buy a home, to keep it, it's your castle. It's where you raise your family and you raise yourself. And so if you don't take care of it, then it's like taking care of your body, right? Like if you don't know how to take care of it, a lot of us don't know how to take care of it if we don't ask the right people, And so like I recently just changed the way I eat and the way I do things because I'm getting advice from different people. And so I'm not an expert on it. So I had to talk to people that were experts, and then they help you, right? And so I think I've always kind of thought that there's a better way to help out people and teach them correctly and empower them with the right education and what's tailored to them. Nobody's the same situation. A lot of people think everything is cookie cutter, and it's not that way. Sometimes you might want to do, I don't know, a certain remodel, but can you afford it? Is it really the best thing? Or sometimes you want to, I don't know, refi your house and get some debt, or add something, or put solar panels. I mean, there's so many things that you sometimes say, oh, that sounds good, but is it truly what is best for you, right? And so I've always had
intimidating almost too. Yeah. I think it sounds like, and they do trust that person. And if they say, I can do it all, but in reality, they can't. True. They do need multiple individuals. Yeah.
Great. So I think from that point forward, I've always liked the educating part. And I think that's where it started, right? Did I know the name? Did I know the full concept? Of course not. But I think the seed was planted on me that it's better to educate and bring value than just look at someone as a number to make money, So.
It's almost too like that teddy bear story is what triggered this whole change and that transition of you and your personal journey as well. So in 3 sentences, what is Multitaskr to you?
The best advice that's tailored for you. My goal is to become America's home advisor, and so a lot of people go, it's too much of a big goal, you're crazy or this or that, but I see the need, I see the necessity, and I see it with everybody we engage with. It just keeps validating it. I haven't met anyone that says, oh no, I don't want to save money, or oh no, I don't want you to help me, or oh no, I don't want you to make my dream come true. Like, no, everybody always wants that. I think the biggest thing at first right now, because we're new and people are getting to know us, is they think it's too good to be true. They think there's something behind it. They go, well, wait a minute, what's the catch? Are you trying to pull a fast one on me? And I think that's always the biggest challenge, is how are people going to trust you? Now it's happening. Now we're getting a lot of clients. Now we're having a lot of success stories. We tend to film everything we do. So a lot of people are going to start seeing a lot of testimonials and clients that are happy. And now I think is the hardest part, because it's keeping up who you are, and so that's why I always tell everybody here in the company, it's a customer-centric. I say customers are right. And even though we can't be everything to everybody, I think we can do our best to be what the best thing for them, right? And as long as we know we're doing what's best, I think we're going to be all right,
That's good. Now, so as you began the journey of building out Multitaskr, you have different components. You have to think about the team, the technology, the capital to build this company, even the internal processes. But the biggest thing always goes back to the team. What is your approach when it comes to building a team?
I think it starts with yourself, right?
Yeah.
There was a poem that I read that I always keep telling myself that. It was, I forgot who said it, but it was, when I was a young man, I wanted to change the world. Then I realized it was complicated. And then I wanted to change my city. And then I realized it was too complicated. And then I wanted to change my town. And then I realized it was too complicated. And then I wanted to change my family. And I realized it was too complicated. And then as an old man now, I realized the only thing I can change is myself. And then when I think about that, I think that if I changed myself when I was a young man, I could have influenced my family to change. And then if they would change, they could have influenced our town to change. And then if they would have changed, then they could have influenced our city. And then if they would have changed, they could have influenced to change our world, right? And so if I would have changed when I was a young man, I could have changed the world. So I always tell myself that, because before I jump into pointing fingers or trying to blame something outside, I always go, wait a minute, what can I do to show as an example to do that better, right? And so I think that's the first and foremost thing I always look at is, am I doing the best version of myself? And then from there, how can I influence other people to look at the best version of their self, right? And so with building a team, I think that's what I'm always looking out for is this person working to become a better version of themselves? And if so, how can I help them do that, right? And I think if you're building a core team with people that are like-minded that way, you're going to build something that is on, you can't break it.
You're inspiring them to do, like you said, be the best version of themselves. So they're going to shine, because it's not just like a founder taking the spotlight. Everybody is bringing their skill set together.
I always tell everyone, I go, guys, if we're doing good, it's all because of you. We're doing bad as me, because I'm allowing it, you know, so.
Now, over the past few years, how do you see your leadership skills? Have they changed since now moving towards this business? Because this is a completely different business model.
Oh, yeah. It keeps evolving big time. Also having kids and all that. I mean, everything just keeps evolving. I think the biggest thing is, again, not taking yourself too seriously, knowing that you're going to make mistakes, believing in yourself. I'm stubborn in the sense that I know we're going to succeed, but I'm not stubborn in how we're going to get there, right? And so I think that that's one of the biggest things that I also tell myself is being patiently persistent, right? Saying, okay, we're going to do this, right? I'm going to start with myself, setting the example, and then everybody around me. How do I empower them? And then if we help empower them, they're going to empower the consumer. And then it's a circle, right? You create that ecosystem of like everybody helping each other out, right? And so I believe that if we're truly bringing in value to homeowners, to other providers, for example, one of the things that we're starting to develop right now is helping out realtors bringing more value to their potential homeowners or past homeowners that they've helped, right? And so as a realtor, you work super hard, gaining all this trust, getting this person to trust you to go out and buy a home with you. You sell them the home, and then that's that. And then sometimes they'll call you, be like, who do you recommend for this, or who do you recommend for that? And so me seeing that and all the stuff that we're trying to do, I want to help empower them to be able to say, don't worry, I'm part of the Multitaskr network. This is going to be a Multitaskr home. They're going to help you with everything you need. It's going to be tailored for you, right? And so we can actually educate the realtor to know all the other services, or they can work along with us, or they can work for us. Sky's the limit. So I think that as long as we're truly bringing in value and not just looking in for the quick buck, we're going to be completely fine, and we're going to keep doing what we're trying to do, which is help out every homeowner in the U.S. So it sounds like a big goal, but I definitely think it's possible. It might take a while, but
well, you're moving forward with it. So, company culture is huge. What do you do to stay connected with your team?
Well, first and foremost, I make sure I say hi to everybody every single day. And I always tell people that my door's open, and I always allow people to take decisions and be themselves and be able to engage with us. We communicate a lot. That is one thing that we do. I mean, we have channels where we see, everybody can talk with each other right away. I mean, we meet at least once a week with everybody. I mean, I just try to always be available. The way I see it is, as the CEO, you're not really the leader. You're more of the assistant, And so I always tell myself that, like, I'm always trying to talk to people and allow them to have the room to say what they need to say, and trying to see how I can help them out, right? What tool can I give them? How can I help them out? What are they not seeing that I can see, that I can help them so they could see it? I'm not perfect, but that I'm trying to always be a steps ahead and be their assistant so they can succeed. If they succeed, we succeed.
I think it probably makes it a good environment too, to see that they get to see you evolving and you always learning, so they don't feel bad, or they're not pulling their weight if they're still learning things too. Those are some great leadership skills. Now, to build a marketplace like Multitaskr, it's not just the platform anymore. Now you have the AR, VR component for the customer. So technology is key, but it does require a lot of funding. Can you share some insight into what that process has been like for you to raise money for Multitaskr?
It's complicated. It's complicated because you have to be firm that you know what you're doing. People don't want to invest with people that are not confident. However, you have to be realistic, right? So there's a balance with confidence and realism, right? Because if you like, for example, you can have the best product, you can have the best team, but if it's not the right time, it might not work, right? I don't know if you're familiar, but for example, Uber existed before. It was called Magic Taxi, if I remember correctly, and it was just not the right time, And so it's sometimes the concept is great, but is it the right time? Are consumers going to adapt it? Are the people that give the service going to adapt it? There's a lot going on to it. So it's not easy. A lot of people told me I was crazy. A lot of people have said no. A lot of people have seen too many holes in it, But it's great because sometimes the holes are true, and it allows you to fix them before they happen, before they leak, So I always tell people, go for it. Just who cares if 10 people tell you you're crazy or 100 people tell you you're crazy, It's just part of it. Every time someone says no to you, it's a lesson. It's something, there's a reason why they said no to you. Usually it's a good reason. Usually it's something that you didn't say right, something you didn't explain yourself properly, something you weren't aware of. And then suddenly now you're aware of it, right? And so it hasn't been easy, but I'm always trying to raise capital even if we don't need it, because it always sharpens my skills, right? And you never know, you might meet the right partners. Now at the level that we're trying to get into, now we're going to start talking to different partners that are going to be very strategic now, right? It's not just the money part now. Now it's more of like, okay, how do we align? If we do this with this person or this company, how do they fit the culture? How do they fit the future plan, et cetera, et cetera? But it hasn't been easy. I did have a little bit of prior experience, but in a smaller scale with projects, like one-off projects and stuff like that, teaming up with people and partners and all that. But yeah, I mean, it was hard to sell an idea of something that didn't exist and what you were going to do. But at the end of the day, I think it's the confidence and truly having the right vision to explain what you're going to do. And I think at the end of the day, everybody buys with emotion,
Yeah.
even though they're going to see it and they're going to say, okay, well, there's all these holes, but is this person in front of me going to do everything in their power to make this successful? And is this person going to listen? And is this person going to adapt? And is this person going to give up? And so I'm never going to give up. Like, I know what I'm doing and I know we're going to get there. Yeah. Is it going to take me longer than expected? Maybe. Is it going to be more complicated? Maybe. Is it going to take me 20 different turns? Maybe, but I do know that people need this service, and I do know that it's working. I'm seeing it every single day when we engage with clients. So it's wonderful to hear clients say, oh, I love it. It's wonderful to see that. And when people go, I didn't like this or I didn't like that, it's never really the product, it's someone dropped the ball, right? Because we're not perfect. We've had situations where someone dropped the ball, someone didn't call back a client, something happened, they got busy. And so that's one of the other things that I'm super focused on right now is customer success, right? And their experience with us and making sure that they feel that we have their back and they want to listen to them. I'm actually developing a full department now. That's going to be the customer experience department. And so at the moment you engage with us, you're going to have someone assigned to you that all they do is making sure your experience is wonderful. Because that's the only way we're going to keep evolving. So I think that, investors, if they see that passion, that's the biggest thing, the key, right? Everything else goes like market size, what's your plan, how are you going to get there, what's your track record, all those things. But biggest thing is the passion.
And adapting. It sounds like, you see it, that you may not get there. There's an image where it's like a squiggly line of what true entrepreneurship is. And so by showing that you can pivot or adapt, that is going to be a strength that they look at. Now looking back when you first started Multitaskr, obviously it sounds like it has changed a lot, but how do you see it from when you first thought of it to what it is today?
I think the biggest challenge that I've had is when you start a business, the biggest challenge you have is adaptation. Why are people going to give you a shot? Why are consumers going to give you a shot? I think it's actually even easier for investors to fund you than actually get clients. Because especially with something as important as your home, right? Because that's where you live. And it's like, why am I going to give you a shot? What makes you so different than this other person? Everybody tries to put you in a box, right? And so the biggest challenge for us is that, has been that. Now I think we kind of figured things out, but it was like, why are people going to give us a shot? We know we want to do everything and want to be everybody to everyone, but how do we start, right? And if we go back, I always compare myself, at least I try to compare ourselves with Amazon, because Amazon started selling books, but Jeff Bezos, which is one of the persons I admire, he knew he wanted to do what he's currently doing, but he knew back when he started, books, after kind of seeing different options, he decided books were the best way to start. But when he was starting that, he knew he was educating consumers. He knew he was creating the right channels to distribute things and ship things through the US. And he knew eventually if he did a good job, he built the right customer support, the right momentum, then he could actually get other third-party vendors to sell other products in his marketplace. So to me, I always go back in a way and I go, what would Jeff Bezos do? In a way, I kind of think that way when I'm doing things and I go, what is our books, right? And so I think the thing that has really started getting traction for us is construction. ADUs are a very hot button in California, additional dwelling units. And I think because we utilize 3Ds and virtual reality, and we have a full-on design team, and we have all these different tools that most contractors do not have, or they don't really utilize it. I think that's been getting us to get, we're starting to get a lot of referrals now. And so at first it was all marketing. We're still doing marketing, but referrals are starting to happen now, and it's because of that. I think, really exciting. I think that's the biggest thing is saying, okay, that's going to be our books, right? We're going to focus mainly in construction right now, utilize all the cool tools that we have. And then the VR wasn't something I had planned this year. Pandemic hits. And as you know, pandemic hits, and as a startup, I mean, you're always spending money. You're always, R&D, hiring new people. You have to spend money to make money, right? And the more people think that when you start selling and you start creating revenue, you're not going to need money. That's not true. The more you grow, the more money you need. So never stop raising money. Just be smart how you raise it. And people don't want to give you money when you need it. People want to give you money when you don't need it. So always remember that too. So if it's going good, go out and raise money because you never know where you're going to need more. And so pandemic hits, we're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Clients go, we don't want to do anything. We have all these deals in the pipeline. Everything freezes. And then I go, oh my God, how am I going to do this, right? How am I going to afford to pay everybody, right? And it's super stressful for me because I know everybody has families. And it's like the last thing I want is to tell them, hey man, I'm not going to give you a check. And then how are they going to pay their house? And then their kids and this and then that. It's stressful. So when that happened, I was like, oh my God, okay, calm down. What are we going to do? And I pretty much calmed down. And then I said, all right, what can we do? And I started going one by one on the clients. And I started seeing which client is still alive, which client is still wanting to work with us, right? And there was one client that still wanted to work with us, but he didn't want no one in his house. So he wanted to kind of talk about it in VR, not in VR, sorry, on Zoom or web call and just kind of talk more about it. And he was the one that said, can you guys share like a screen and like maybe like the plans and all that? And when he said that, in my head, I was like, oh, wait a minute. We were going to do VR next year. So maybe we could just go ahead and just try it, right? So then I talked to our main VR person and I said, hey, am I crazy? Or can we do this construction that we're going to build for this gentleman in VR and then ship the VR goggles? He could see it and then he ships it back, or he can keep it and then we can kind of work with it that way, right? So they go, no, you're not crazy. We could do that. I was like, all right, well, let's do it. Let's see what happens. So we do that. We send it. Long story short, client loves it. Yeah. He's like, wow, this is amazing. Da, da, da. It was really cool because we were actually able to put on VRs here. He put on VRs there. And we're actually able to be in avatars in the future home and walk it and kind of go through everything. So it's super cool. So seeing that, I got super excited. Client goes, I'm ready to move forward. So he hires us. And then I said, you know what? Every single client that we currently have that said it's on hold, let's offer the VR service, see what happens. So we saved like 70% of the pipeline. Wow. And then boom, started closing deals, started creating revenue, and momentum just started going. And so now the VR is like one of the biggest pieces of what we're doing. We're developing. I mean, I hired a ton of more engineers just for that. And so the goal for that, for the homeowner is eventually, guys, like what we're creating with the marketplace is you're going to have your own dashboard by the end of the year, and you'll be able to create a profile for your home, just like Facebook kind of, right? You create a profile for you. So you'll be able to create one for your home. And then you'll be able to, if you want us to go out and scan your home, we scan it with these special cameras that you'll be able to have a 3D of every single space of your home. And so what'll happen is, like, let's say, I don't know, you want to remodel your kitchen, right? And you go, okay, I want to remodel my kitchen. You can create your design on your dashboard. You can even connect your Pinterest board to it. And we'll be able to say, okay, this is what you want, kind of. Yeah, this is kind of the style. All right, great. And then we can offer financing, or you could say, no, I have my own financing, whatever. And then what we'll do is you'll get a proposal for your design within 72 hours or so. You could see it in your dashboard, like a 2D model, or you can download the VR app and you'll be able to see it VR. Like literally standing in your kitchen, you'll put on the goggles and you'll see your new kitchen, how it would look, right? So we're developing that. So nobody's doing stuff like that. So we really are just loving creating it right now. And that's going to be the idea, right? The idea is you'll be able to like literally walk your house in VR, change walls, change layouts, change everything in the virtual world. Yeah. And while you're changing, in a matter of minutes, and while you're changing it, you'll get pricing based on your zip code, financing costs, the whole thing, and a cart, and you'll be able to drag it to your cart and buy it, right? So that's what we're developing. Super cool. Yeah. I love it. I always get anxious because I want it to get done already, but it's a lot of work. So it's cool. You know, we're marrying a lot of the analog world of like the advisors and the pros and all that to all the new world of technology. So I like it. I love it. And I think homeowners are going to love it. So far, what we've shared with them, every single person has loved it. And it's really, really cool.
I could see that, you know, it'll put a homeowner at ease, you know, being able to, like you said, just be able to instantly change things, walking in your house. You're not questioning what they're about to do, or, you know, after you spend all this money, you walk in and it's not what you wanted at all. You're losing like that. You're getting rid of that problem. So that is really cool to see. And I know we're going to be able to start seeing more of that coming to life, even through some of the VR. You actually allow customers to come here and experience that here too. Yep. Cool. So being a technology platform, you know, and changing the way businesses work with homeowners is different now through Multitaskr. What would be the benefits for service providers to work with Multitaskr?
So one of the big holes I saw with providers that work with marketplaces that offer services to homeowners is most of the marketplaces sell you a lead. And they go, okay, let's say, I don't know, let's say you're a contractor and someone wants to remodel their kitchen. You usually, the contractor will sign up in these platforms and then they'll pay a fee and then they get a lead, right? Okay. They call the lead and then there's other contractors fighting for that lead, or they say you could pay a premium and you're exclusive and stuff like that, right? And so I get that. That's a model. It works. But to me, it's not about making the money with the lead. To me, it's building the relationship for a lifetime with that homeowner. So if I'm selling a lead to a professional, that's good and all. But if the professional, let's say for whatever reason, he's new and he's never done that job and he does it, and then he does a wrong thing, right? He didn't mean to do it wrong, but he does it wrong. The client is not going to trust that platform anymore. Even though it was a third party doing it, you lose all faith because you affirm that person. So one of the things I wanted to avoid was that. It's not that I want to give deals to providers. Of course I do. Yeah. But it's the quality of providers that I want to get involved with has to be there, and they have to care as much as we care for the homeowner for us to give them the deal. Because my goal is not to give you a lead. It's actually to give you a deal that's ready to go, that's already ready to fund. I mean, that everything's ready to go. So currently, we've teamed up with certain providers. Currently, we have some providers in-house too, just because I wanted to make sure that we can control the quality of it. And if for whatever reason something goes wrong, we're going to make sure it goes right. And if we had to take a hit, we're going to take it because client is our priority. And so I have a complete different philosophy than a lot of people, and I get that. But at the end of the day, if I'm truly going to become that advisor for everybody, I have to make sure that they're priority. So that's I think the key difference is if you work with us, if you become a provider with us, you're going to get quality clients that truly understand what you're doing for them and are going to be happy working with you. But we're also going to be picky, and we want to only work with the best. And so now let's say you just don't have the experience and you want to learn from the best. That's another thing that we want to do, right? If you're a new person that's just getting into construction that wants to learn, well, come on and work with us, and we'll align you with people that have been in the industry for a while, and you can learn, and then you can build your value of what you can do. So I think that's the biggest difference is we truly care about the homeowner, and we don't want to sell you as a lead. We want to take care of you and hold your hand through the process. If we refer you to somebody, we want you to feel comfortable that we already vetted that person, that we already saw their work, that we're going to supervise the job if you allow us to, or if you want us to. We could also do project management. So there's going to be a lot of things we're going to be evolving with. But our goal is that we have your back. I mean, that's the biggest thing, I think Airbnb has done a wonderful job of growing because of that. I think they truly care about the homeowner that rents out their space. They have guarantees, they have insurance, they have a lot of support. And I think that's why they've been so successful. So that's the mentality that I'm trying to bring into the marketplace.
Well, that's the thing too with Airbnb. A lot of people back then even told them, you're crazy. Nobody's going to want to let people into their houses. And then look what happened. So that's definitely the direction for Multitaskr. Now, when it comes to the kind of service providers, can you break down the type of service providers that you are working with?
Sure. Well, I mean, mainly right now, anything that's construction from inside and outside of your home, we cover all that, right? And then the other things that we're focusing on are ways to save money, right? So from solar panels to different, doors and windows and different landscape from turf to different smart solutions from, things that measure your water usage and stuff like that. So those are the main things that we're focusing right now. So any provider that is in those areas that would be interested to working with us and working with top quality clients, please reach out to us and we'll definitely talk to you and get to know you a little bit. And there is certain criteria that we're looking for. We want to see some of your work. We would love to go to some of your jobs you've done. We'd like to talk to some of your clients. Because again, we care about the client so much that if we're going to refer you out, we want to make sure that you're going to take care of the client, right? And we want you to make money. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has to make money. We get that. But the client is first. So we are going to be a little picky, but we want the client to be happy with what we're offering.
You might start to re-energize a lot of these service providers too, because it is different. It's a different experience. So let's say I'm a homeowner. I'm looking to increase the value of my property. What ways can Multitaskr help me?
Sure. I think right now, one of the biggest hot buttons is the ADUs, right? If you have the space, California, talking California right now, if you have the space and just the rules right now in California, they're allowing you to build an additional dwelling unit, so an extra space, an extra small, place where you can have a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and rent out, or have somebody live there, somebody from your family, or I don't know, kid that is going to college, but now with everything right now is staying at home, so they gotta have their own space, stuff like that. But I think that's one of the biggest. If you look at the ROI right now on that, like the return of investment on it, what's the cost and how much you can lease them for, it's really, really good. I mean, a lot of people are even starting to look into buying a home, kind of like instead of just buying and flipping, like a lot of flippers do. They're like, okay, well, I'm going to buy it and build an ADU on it, and then flip it or rent it out, right? And so a lot of people don't know that you're capable. Like, there's a lot of ways to do that, but it's a really good way to look into it, and there could be a lot of potential value on it. There's a lot of clients that we're doing that for right now, and when you look at the value they're going to obtain, the lease money they're going to make, it's pretty crazy. Like, it's really good returns, and it's a really good idea right now.
Well, and two, it's not even the matter of the size of their backyard. It could be their garage, or exactly. I've seen you guys even do some upstairs too, right?
Yep. We've built units upstairs. We've done garage conversions. I mean, we're very creative. We're always looking at ways to get the best use for your lot. And then the cool thing again is technology, right? You could actually visually see how things are going to look. We're going to get to a point where we'll be able to walk how things are going to be, and without even spending money on building it yet. So pretty cool, really cool stuff.
Now, so you mentioned the ADUs. What if financially, as the homeowner, I'm unable to afford what Multitaskr is proposing to me? Are there other avenues that you guys would guide me in, or what is that process?
Well, we're always looking at ways to finance for you if you don't have your own financing. We work with over 200 banks, but we are creating our own financing instruments as well. But then another thing that I'm trying to do right now is I'm starting to team up with investors to maybe give you the opportunity to do sort of a lease to own opportunity with your ADUs. So I'll give you an example. There's a client of ours that has the perfect lot. She can lease the unit for a really good amount, but her credit is not the best right now, but she really wants to do the ADU. So we're working out a deal where we're going to finance it. We're going to build it. We're going to be the property managers for it. And then we're going to give her 10 years to buy it back from us. So we're basically going to lease it to her, right? Or lease it from her, sorry. And then take care of everything. And then she gets back a piece of the rent while she's paying. Like, part of the rent goes basically towards the payment to us. And then she gets the difference, right? But now she has a unit. So that value is really hers. She's making an extra piece on the rent. And then we're going to help her to kind of guide her on what to do to have her credit fixed, hopefully in less than a year. And then she'll be able to buy that unit from us, right? So we're working on those things too.
There's different avenues then. That's amazing. What makes Multitaskr unique compared to other platforms for homeowners?
There's a lot of things that are going to make us unique, but I think the biggest thing is that we care. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, we truly, truly care. My biggest thing is I want to know what every single client is going through. Like, I listen to calls. Like, I listen to the calls from the clients, and when they're saying good things, bad things. I mean, I want us to know what your birthday is, what your kid's birthday is, what your anniversary is. Like, I want to get to know you because I truly care. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, and I try to instill that to everybody. It's like, guys, we're not anyone without the client. And clients are the ones that are going to make us, and they're going to allow us to keep growing and keep servicing more clients. And so I think that's the biggest thing. Yes, do we have all these cool tools? Yes. I want to empower you with education, with technology, with finance. I want to make sure I can get you all the financing that is available so you can make your dreams come true. I want to be able to give you the coolest tools so you could be able to make the right decisions and visually see how things would look. Things to calculate things for you, is this the right thing? Like, for example, working on some calculators, I didn't mention that, but you'll be able to like switch around, I don't know, your kitchen or your bathroom, and based on your zip code, while you switch things and colors and all that, it'll tell you the price, right? And so, and kind of like a finance cost and all that. So it's just tools to kind of make you make the right decisions before you will go out and call someone or talk to someone. You'll have sort of a place to start off, right? And then education, right? Doing the podcast, interviewing professionals in different areas, giving tools to homeowners. I think overall around, you'll see that we're authentic and that we care and that we're always going to be thinking of tools to make you succeed. And for you as a homeowner to make it simple, for you to make decisions to save time, save money, and create value.
Well, personally, just from the outside in over the past few months now, I have seen just even the energy from the team members. And they are so passionate about being here and what they do and love. And then that shines to the customers. So the environment is really exciting and refreshing to see around this company.
Appreciate that.
So, your passion obviously is contagious. You can feel it. You love what you do. You can see that. What is one thing you are working on, if you can narrow it down, that really excites you at this specific time?
VR.
Yeah.
VR. The virtual reality is just, it's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think people are going to, the pandemic is going to allow it to be accelerated for people to accept it. Remember, one thing I said at the beginning was timing, right?
Yeah.
What you're creating, is at the right time or not? VR, to me, when I started this company, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I knew eventually, but I was thinking 5 years from now, right? I was thinking maybe 2025, 2023. But with everything going on and seeing the clients, the wow factor when they put it on and they feel it, is just amazing. And I get super excited when I see those things, and I think that's a key differentiate. It's just a big thing. It's a big tool, and I love it. I mean, everything else is super cool, putting everything together, but I think the VR, I get super excited when I see clients experience it for the first time. Yeah. It's just that wow that they make. There's no money there. You can't put money in it. It's pretty cool. It's like the commercial with the priceless, remember?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. If I could film every time someone puts on the VR the first time, it would be really cool.
I think you might have to. Yeah. That would be a good little clip. Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining us today on Multitaskr's Home Solution Network podcast. Before we let you go, are there any final words that you'd like to share with the listeners? Well, first, thank you for interviewing me. I think I just want you guys to know that we're truly here for you. That if you give us a shot to quote with us anything you need for your home, or you're interested in buying a home and you're talking to your agent, you say, hey, I heard about this Multitaskr company that they help you out to make things easier and save you time, save you money. Just give us a shot. You have nothing to lose. We're not pushy salesmen. We're not going to try to oversell you on anything. We just want to listen to you because you're going to allow us to get better by listening to your issues and by seeing what you need. So give us a shot. You can email me, call me directly. I'm always available to everyone. And we truly want to change the way homeownership works for everybody in the US. We want to make it simple, we want to make it fun, and we want to come up with the coolest tools to enjoy it, right? So we're here for you guys. Give us a shot. You're not going to regret it, and hope to have you as a Multitaskr family client soon. Thank you. Well, with that being said, thank you all for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed and gained some great insights from Joe on the vision of Multitaskr and how Multitaskr can help you. Hey guys, thank you for joining Multitaskr's Home Solution Network podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click on subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our next podcasts. Remember, every single podcast, we're going to give you different advice on how to save time, how to save money, and how to create value. Check us out at gomultitaskr.com. Click subscribe.